Hi. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Ankit. I think Ankit has left. But one piece of advice I've learned from the previous session is 7 hours sleep, right? Really worked for me, right? I'm not sure if I've lost the weight or something, but I feel more active and more energetic for sure. Cool. So team, before even I start the session, right, like just wanted to check who all are building a B2B startup. All right, I have an audience then. Cool. Uh, yeah, so today I'm going to cover Outbound GTM Deep Dive. It's a workshop. So I have a couple of requests from my side. Number one, please keep it as interactive as possible. So if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me and ask question at any point of time. That's number one. Number two is if you're not asking questions, I'm going to ask a lot of questions to you guys because I'm curious to learn how you are building your outbound GTM motion, right? So a quick intro on my side. I am Avinash. I'm co-founder and COO at Sprouts. We are building an AI-powered GTM intelligence platform. We started sometime last year and have a couple of customers which we have onboarded. Prior to that, I was almost a first account-based marketing hire at Highradius, which is a fintech SaaS unicorn headquartered in Houston, Texas. They are at a scale of close to around 300, 350 million ARR. When I joined, they were at around 35 million. So I have seen that journey of 30 million to 165 million in 3 years' time, where 70% of demand was generated from the function which I was leading. So a lot of learning from that side, which I'm going to share today. Post that, I've joined this company called Plum, which is an insurtech startup. I'm pretty sure you must have taken insurance from them. And if you have got any marketing communication, you know who is the culprit, right? So in 15 months, I think we have grown 8x, and a lot of efforts were coming from the outbound motion. So today I'm going to share these learnings with you guys, and happy to learn if you are facing any pain points, right? So we can collaboratively discuss here as well. So it's a workshop, lot of pain point related topics we are going to discuss with lots of gyan, right? I hope that works with you all. All right? Okay, cool. How do I operate it? Like, next slide. Oh, this one. All right, so agenda we can skip. Mostly I'm going to cover what are the types of GTM and what kind of GTM really suit your company. Building an efficient outbound function. What are the steps which are, which you should take care of while building an outbound motion? Inbound channels and frameworks, okay. Inbound channels and couple of frameworks and few learnings from my journey, which I'm going to share with you guys, right? Okay. Cool. So types of GTM motion, while there are many GTM motions which you can, build upon and you can work upon, but broadly speaking, there are two GTM motion. One is sales-led and one is self-serve. Right now, think of it this way, right? Any company, if you are building a company, okay, you're from Accel or you're, okay. Mm-hmm. Right. So you are building a B2B side or B2C? Anyone who is like building a B2B side, can you raise a hand? Yeah, yes, sir.
Hello, so I'm co-founder of 100ms.live.
Okay.
We provide, we are basically conferencing platform as a service. So we provide SDKs, which our like active platform like his can integrate inside their application if they want to have this conferencing and streaming capability.
Okay. So yeah. What's your current GTM motion like? It's more on the inbound sales-led, or it is like self-serve, like you get freemium, you give freebies to your customers and they come into the platform and they use, and how does your GTM motion looks like?
Actually, for bigger customer, we are doing the sales-led, like founders or like the head of sales reaches out to them. Apart from that, like we are also focusing on the self-serve side also.
Got it.
Where like we have built some product which they can integrate with very quick turnaround time.
Got it. Got it. So broadly speaking, team, the sales-led GTM motion primarily comprises of lot of inbound channels and outbound channels. Self-serve is mostly PLG, which is product-led. So how does that product-led work? Is there is a product, somebody visits your website, they start using it, and eventually they convert into an opportunity and eventually a customer, right? And then in self-serve, there is a lot of companies which have relied on community-led motion as well. Now think of companies like, if I have to tell, right, like Discord, right? Like they are like go-to community for all web developers and everything, right? Something like GitHub, right? It's very popular in the community side of, especially on the tech side. So self-serve is mostly PLG and community-led, and sales-led you have to focus on outbound and inbound channel. We are going to go deeper into what exactly this outbound and inbound looks like in consecutive slides. So if you have any questions, please feel free to bring those up. I know this is slightly a busy slide, but this is how the entire B2B GTM outbound stack looks like, right? These are like 5-step process. You can successfully execute your GTM outbound campaign, okay? Now, to start with, the first one is, how do I define an ideal customer profiles? Right now, team, like, can anyone can, sir, yeah, can you tell me about your company and how are you thinking about ICP from your side?
I run a SaaS product company, which is an omni-channel SaaS product, enabling brands to sell online.
Okay.
So for us, we actually look at the cohort of customers. So essentially, there are two major cohorts. One is all the household brands who are there in a mall, so which are well-known brands like a Body Shop or a Levi's, etc. So it's easy for me there. There I would put revenue as the first target item and the industry cohort in terms of whom I'm going after. So there'll be a list of potential prospects there. The second one is the internet first brands who are disrupting those sectors.
Okay.
Again, we would look at funded companies or companies which have great founders who are expected to scale. So we make a list of that and we basically target that.
Got it. So you're saying that companies which are product companies which are having some revenue and industry, these are like
two cohorts. The
two
first
cohorts.
cohort is the household or the high street brands. They're well-known brands.
Okay.
The internet-first brands is a little more difficult to identify.
Okay.
But there you go for funded companies. The second thing I do, for example, I'm a power user on Paytm, PayU, etc.
Okay.
So I keep getting coupons of various brands. So I ask our marketing teams to delve into that, make a list of that. We look at the brands who are selling on, let's say, a Zepto or an Instamart. We make a list of those which are potentially high volume sellers there. So those become our ideal customer from the internet first brand cohort.
Got
so
it.
those
Got
are the
it.
two cohorts we go after.
Got it. Actually, you are doing a good job. I think there is a lot of scope to go slightly more deeper. So just to give you an example, team, this particular piece, which is ICP, defining ICP, has helped us a lot in doing very precise targeting. Let me give you a couple of examples. Right now, one example is from Plum, which is an insurtech startup. They sell insurance to startups. Right now, the normal ICP, which when I joined, it was like, hey, you know what, reach out to all startups who have raised funds from tier 1 VCs, or they are, some accelerator backed or anything. Now there are like 35,000 startups in India, but which are those 500 companies in India are looking to buy solution or insurance today, right? That is where you spend a lot of time reaching out to like not relevant audience, right? There are just 500 companies who are going to buy your solution today. We have to identify that on day one. So what we have done a lot of manual exercise by studying who is visiting websites, Plum's websites, who is submitting the form in last 90 days, what kind of customers competitors are getting, right? Based on that, we have identified that any company which is founded after 2020, the moment they hit 15 employees, D plus 30 days if campaigns goes out, the response rate is 60% and above. That is power of ICP, right? So most of the companies which I have seen is they do not spend time on ICP. I think if you're not doing it, I think take a step back and start spending a lot of time on defining ideal customer profiles. Because in India, there are 1.9 million companies. Please tell me who are those 500 companies who are going to buy your solution today. In US, there are 250K companies who are going to buy your solution today, and why, right? So that step one is very, very important, right? And that can be based on tech stack. So let me give you one more example. I'm emphasizing on that a lot because that has really, really helped. At Highradius, so it's a, we used to automate AR, which is account receivables, and we used to sell to the office of CFO. And in office of CFO, there is a department which is called as order to cash department, right? And we entered into Europe market and we struggled for 3 months because we were doing a lot of spray and pray. We took a step back. We started focusing on ICP. We realized that for any enterprises, if a new initiative which is going on, right, they hire a particular person with a title called digital transformation. And these kind of companies have some active initiatives which is going on. So in entire Europe, there were close to around 2,500 companies. We figured out that in around 300 or 330 odd companies, they have either hired a digital transformation guy or there is an active job openings of digital transformation who is going to transform the entire CFO org. The moment we started focusing on those 300 accounts, we made first 8 million in just 12 months time. So because we have channelized this entire energy in refining those ICP. So first step, I think the first success mantra which I have seen in my learnings has been refining the ICP, going really, really deep on who is your buyer. That's number one. Now, once that is done, right, like how to find right companies and right personas to target. I'm pretty sure you must be using many tools, which is ZoomInfo, Apollo, Crunchbase. Anyone, any ZoomInfo users? Any Apollo users? I'm pretty sure there will be many. Got it. So, but the challenge there is every database have their own pros and cons, right? So it's very important you identify what database is very apt for you, right? For example, for you, sir, example, you said that you have like internet first product for internet first brand. Now, which database provides best in class internet brands data? Right. So that's the challenge, right? There are so many databases out there, but nobody knows what database has got best in class internet brands, right? So it's very important to choose what database you have to look for. Let me give you a couple of examples. ZoomInfo has got amazing industry categorization. Apollo has got maximum reach when it comes to LinkedIn data. Crunchbase has got amazing funding data. If you are in health tech, I think you should go for databases like Definitive Healthcare. If you are in a cloud space where you are focusing on cloud optimization, there are databases like Integrately. If you are focusing on any kind of tech stack related targeting, let's say like one of our customer, they focus on data lake, Snowflake kind of a databases, right? So for that, there are proprietary databases like Integrately and everything. So it's very important to choose right database and create target account list, right? So first is ICP, then building the target account list using the ICP variables and using multiple databases, because this is where you will get maximum TAM and right variables. Then the next thing is how to check if they are looking to buy right now. That is where the intent kind of a thing comes into picture. Anyone who are aware of intent, how does it work? Yeah, so do you use in your org, sir? What is that?
So ours is a marketing, Gen AI marketing platforms.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So for us, there are a few intent we do use. One is around firmographics, just in terms of, okay, did somebody launch a new brand? for example, right?
Okay.
The second is in terms of a little bit more in terms of what are my target account-based people, what are they searching or what are they posting? So
And how do you do
insights
that?
on that. That is a little bit manual today,
Okay.
because we have a very small list of people whom we are targeting.
Okay.
Then we use some intent signals from that Apollo gives us
Okay.
in terms of, I mean, they have built that's something new, not very sophisticated, but it does the job for us.
Right. Awesome. Anybody else who uses intent? Yeah. Okay. That's one form of intent. Absolutely, yes. Right? But just to tell you, I think if you're not focusing, I see very few people are focusing on intent. If you're not, it's high time you should, because this is where you get a lot of filtration in terms of which all companies are looking to buy solution like yours. Let me tell you how does intent work. So intent is primarily classified into three categories, which is first party, second party, and third party. Right? What does first party means? First party is, think of it this way, let's say 100 ms. How many people are visiting 100 ms website and they are not submitting the form? That is a first party intent, right? And there are ways to track it. We can de-anonymize and we can figure out which all companies are visiting your website, what pages they are visiting your website, and they are not filling out a form. I think if you're not targeting those customers, you're leaving opportunity on the table, right? That's the first party intent. What's the second party intent? Second party intent is, consider, can you name a few competitors of 100 ms? Twilio, right? Let's say if somebody is comparing 100 ms and Twilio on G2 Crowd or Trust Radius, why will you not target them, right? So that is second party intent for you. So think of it this way. First party is somebody is visiting my website and not submitting a form. There are ways to de-anonymize those visitors and do a proactive targeting to get better conversions. That's number two. Number three is, if somebody is comparing your product or your solution on sites like G2 Crowd, Trust Radius, or Capterra, you should definitely de-anonymize them and target them, because otherwise, they are in active sales cycle. They are buying a product. That's why they are spending time on these sites. And then comes the third party intent. Now, this is a concept which was built by a company called Bambora. So they think of it this way, right? So again, I'll take your example. If I have to search a solution like 100 ms, right? What kind of keywords I have to search on Google? Can you name a few keywords? Video contenting? Like, now tell me one thing. If somebody is searching for live streaming and they are part of your ICP, if you get that data, right, would you like to target them or not? That is third party intent. Now think of third party as, it's a dark funnel where somebody is searching for keywords which are relevant to you, but they are not visiting your website, but they are not talking to you. That means they are in active sales cycle and searching for keywords which make a lot of sense to your company. So that is the third party intent. So the process is, first step is define ICP. Second step is build the target account list using multiple databases and apt database which is relevant to you. And then marry intent, because intent is a filtering criteria. This is where you will define, okay, out of, let's say, 1,000 companies, these 200 companies are in market and looking to buy solution like what I'm building. Let me go and target them first today, right? And then what's the best way to reach out to them, right? That is where you can create those campaigns like one-to-one, one-to-few, and one-to-many. And you can use tools like Outreach, SalesLoft, and there are many tools in the market. One learning or one best practice is, I think the activity should be tracked very, very, in a very proactive way. For example, okay, let me ask you, do you run email campaigns to your customers? Anyone who runs email campaigns? Yes, sir. So what's a typical open rate? 25%. So I think there are many ways to take that open rate to almost like 60%. So there are techniques where you can do a proactive warm-up. You ensure that your data is valid, and you ensure that your SPF, DMARC, and DKIM ratings are pretty solid in Google, right? So there are hacks to get better response rate by using campaign managers, right? So SPF. So SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, these are the settings in Google which you have to make so that your outreach is much more clear and neater. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then how do we gauge that if they are going to buy right now? So once this entire process is done right, like now think of it this way. I'll take example of 100 MS itself. Somebody who is my ICP account, and they are visited my website. They are also searching for a keyword. I met that person in an event, and he has opened my email 5 times, right? Will you reach out to them or not? And that is where conversion happens. The problem with most of us is what we have seen, and I've learned it a hard way, is doing a lot of spray and pray and not rationalizing what campaigns have to do, right? So there is a lot of method in terms of creating those cohorts, marrying the intent, and making sure that you reach out to right people at the right time, every time, right? That is where you'll get the success. Any questions here? Because this is like the entire workflow of setting up a GTM motion for outbound piece. Yeah, so the prediction score is mostly built on, so there are companies like Sixth Sense, Terminus, and Demandbase. They are market leaders in giving the prediction scores. So think of it this way. There is an intent activity which has happened on external source. There is an internal activity which has happened, which is either they have visited your website, they have submitted a form, or they have seen your ad on LinkedIn, right? And they have like particular ICP criteria as well. So each and every activity, each and every persona is scored, and based on that, you categorize that account into in-market account or follow-up account or not aware account. So that is something which is called as prediction score. This is nothing but a classification criteria to target accounts first. Prioritization, ruthless prioritization. Yeah, you had a question. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Create a community for the frontline worker who doesn't have the decision-making power, but for them to put pressure on the C-suite that we want this. How do you build such a construct?
Right. So in that case, I would approach it this way. So fundamentally, right, you are having a bottom-up motion or a top-down motion. You have to decide on that.
You can't merge the two?
You can, but eventually the conversion, if you're focusing on top-down, right, you have to have that high-touch, wide glove kind of an approach where you make community of, let's say, you sell into which office?
So hospitals, nurses. So nurses are the ones who will use it.
Right.
But the CFO and the chief nursing officer is the one who will actually pay the check.
Right. So I think the community building of chief nursing officers will make a lot of sense in terms of business point of view, right? Once you get a lot of, let's say, base to be built, right? Then you can expand on that. Now, the problem with bottom up is you have to give product for free and let them adopt to a lot of time. For example, there are many companies which give it for free and then they charge it. There are companies like, forgetting the name, they are into health tech itself. They give monitoring solution of your body health and everything. And after you use for certain time, then they charge $20 or $12. So if you want to go in that way, your ACVs will be lower and it's a longer time to market, but it is more sustainable. So it's again a business call you have to take.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One issue is depending on what you choose, how do you get the tools to talk to each other?
Yeah. So now what is happening is everyone is integrating, right? Like Sixth Sense has very recently acquired a database company called Slintel. Demandbase has acquired a company called Demand Matrix. HubSpot has acquired Clearbit. So what we see that in next couple of years, it will be an integrated play, not a siloed solution, but only time will say. But as of now, you have to buy multiple point solution to orchestrate your campaigns. Sorry? Correct, correct. Okay. Correct. Right. Absolutely right. Now, I have a counterpoint to that. For example, Clearbit is best in class de-anonymization data, right? Like Clearbit gives best in class de-anonymized data, right? Now that is not currently integrated with, let's say, Sixsense or ZoomInfo. You have to buy it separately, right? So the point I was trying to make, even on the databases and on intent is, you have to choose right solution which will work for you, right? Now, you take Sixsense and work for a healthcare company. I have my doubts that Slintel has best-in-class health tech data. It is provided by Definitive Healthcare. So it makes a lot of sense to get Definitive Healthcare data and Sixsense. Today, that is the stack.
Sixsense actually gives you the option to buy multiple databases right within Sixsense. You can actually buy Bombora, I know this for sure.
Absolutely.
You can also buy Crunchbase data within Sixsense. They don't do ZoomInfo because ZoomInfo is a direct competition.
Yeah.
But you can actually buy all of these databases and they integrate seamlessly with Sixsense.
Absolutely.
ZoomInfo, of course, does not do that. Apollo does not do that because they started out as databases.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? You have to choose data wisely. That's the point. And choosing data wisely is a challenge, and integrating is still a challenge. You have to take those APIs and integrate into a platform. I'm not sure if Sixsense has CDP to give all those like activity level data, which is happening on other channels, right? So the point is, you have to choose the right data, integrate it. I'm not saying that it's not happening, but it is going to like fully integrate it in a couple of years' time, right? Everyone's moving fast, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
You can filter by the, the purchasing intent, etc. We tried doing A/B testing without intent, with intent, did not see much difference. So question is like how, generally good is the quality of data when they give the intent signals, either with Apollo or Clearbit and others? I mean, does it really make difference if you overlay a good intent, kind of provider? Just want to understand your feedback.
Yeah. So couple of things. Apollo, they created their own intent in-house till like 15 days back. They have just done partnership with Bombora. So they had their own intent. They failed miserably because their customers were not getting results. Like literally on, I think 30th of September or something, they have announced that they have done partnership with Bombora. So in intent category, especially on the third party side, Bombora is a market leader, right? Now still Apollo doesn't have partnership with Clearbit, right? Now, as per like what I have seen, Clearbit de-anonymizes almost like 5 to 6x more website visitors when compared to any other platform. Right now, choice is yours. Like you want to go for multi-stack play, or you can like even ZoomInfo have website visitor technology, right? So that is where you have to, like you have to make that call. To your point, conversions, I think it is mix of multiple things. If ICP is defined nicely, I think if you have spent time on ICP and you have spent time of getting right data, valid data, I think conversion should happen eventually if your messaging is right.
Got it. So your suggestion would be, let's say we are using Apollo.
Yeah.
We should overlay with either Clearbit or Bombora and start.
Apollo has Bombora now, so you need not buy.
Okay, got it.
Now Apollo has Bombora.
Understood.
Apollo doesn't have Clearbit. Now,
Okay.
Apollo has their own in-house technology, or I think they have partnered with Clearbit, lead feeder, to de-anonymize the website. As per me, like what I have seen, it de-anonymizes just a very limited amount of traffic. Clearbit is clearly market leader in this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so I can share that with you offline. Couple of things. For example, you talked about retail, right? What in retail? Like in retail, somebody wants, if that retail store has X million square feet of presence, that is something which is required by me. Or you need, let's say, a retail store should have 100 plus outlets. What is that ICP variable you want? Based on that, you can get the data, right? The one approach you can adopt is, if you're selling into US, there are many of these data available publicly itself on the public websites, on government websites. You can download them, enrich using multiple databases, refine that list, and start targeting. Right? So my point again is, sorry, I'm repeating it again and again. In that retail, what is those ICP characteristics you are looking for? Is it like number of people in a particular retail store? It is like number of outlets. It is, they are offline retail, very recently moved into online. What is that in retail? We have to focus on. That's our ICP. Based on that, we can start building on databases. Mm-hmm. I think these databases are global and they have data pertaining to India as well. Any financial related data, there is one company called Private Circle. They sell into VCs and PE firms. They have a lot of like financial data, like who is on the board, who is, what is the revenue, how many employees are there, how many people are doing. So that is like a very solid list they have got. But apart from that, I think these databases along with LinkedIn should suffice the need, should not be a challenge. Sorry? All of these, all of these.
They're good?
Yeah, they are good. For Europe, there is a different database called Cognism, only for Europe, right? That's it. They have like pretty decent European data. But in US and rest all countries, Zoom, Apollo, Crunchbase, everyone suffice the needs. All right? Cool. So, yeah, so that was more on the outbound side. Yeah.
Sorry. What if you're building a pure tech company, which is kind of horizontal? Is it still recommended to go vertical first to find your ICP?
So again, right, like ours is a very horizontal play. We are a company which help you ramp up your demand gen efforts, right? It's a horizontal. Like any B2B company, they want database, they want intent, they want everything, right? But we are focusing on certain niche category of companies. For example, now we are going really, really deep into, let's say, health tech kind of companies and like companies which are selling into CIO office or CTO office. Why? Because we have a lot of tech stack data which we have procured, right? And that is giving a lot of leverage to our customers to do targeting. So in your case also, right, like you have to map what are your strengths and what is that you would like to operate on.
So maybe who needs my solution the most right
The
now?
most, absolutely. For example, if you're in early stage, if your product is enterprise grade, definitely go and target enterprise companies. We feel that still we want to, do a lot of work in functionality because enterprise customers need different set of functionalities, mid-market need different set of functionalities, and SMB customers need different set of functionality. So what are those functionality you have? You just map it with the market and you have to go first there, just to get like quick wins.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Right. On the outbound piece, right, like there are multiple inbound channels which you can leverage using outbound, right? The first one we have already discussed. Let me quickly cover that, which is website reveals, right? As I said, right, 100 MS, there are website visitors who are coming. We can use multiple databases to enrich them, identify the relevant persona and start reaching out the outreach, right? Reaching out to them. So this is one part. The second part is LinkedIn activity. this is something which takes a lot of manual effort, and there are a couple of tools I can recommend, but uh, here you can start seeing who is following your LinkedIn post or who is following your company page, right? If they are part of your ICP accounts, you should definitely go and do targeting there. The second piece on LinkedIn, which is like very, very powerful, is communities, right? Now, 100 MS, what kind of communities you usually like to focus on? Right, video or developer communities, right? Now, all you have to do is just join these communities on LinkedIn, right? The moment you join this community on LinkedIn, right, you get access to people who are following the same communities. You have capability to crawl them and make sure that you enrich those profiles and start targeting. Usually what we have seen, people who are part of communities and who go events, the propensity to their response is slightly higher when compared to others, right? Because they are more receptive to communication and they react faster. That is what we have seen. So this is one activity which can be done. The third one is events and webinar. Uh, so usually what learning has been, I think, events, we take a lot of booths, we go to the events, and this is like learned the hard way. So went to an event, was clueless, whom should I talk to? Uh, the maximum people were not part of my ICP. There are multiple databases out there, or you can also get attendee list from LinkedIn. It's very simple. It doesn't take a lot of effort. So I was in SaaStr like 2 months back in US, TechCrunch SaaStr. There are 7,000 attendees out there. I managed to get 4,800 attendee data. I mapped with the ICP accounts, like I want to target certain category of companies. I mapped them. Even like 10 days before going to an event, I did a very simple outreach saying that, hey, you know what? I'm coming to Bay Area where, and I love what you're building, would love to catch up with you and exchange notes. I got 33 appointments and 16, like 50% of them have turned, like around 15, 16 people have turned, and I've created opportunity for 200K. So no complaints, but what worked was, I think we have to be slightly proactive when it comes to events, and this is one unique opportunity you can encash on, right? And there are like a lot of databases which gives you event attendee data. Event attendee, for example, the simple way to do it is just see on LinkedIn how many people are attending this event. Zero money, you need not have to invest anything. All you have to do is just see in LinkedIn how many people are attending it, crawl that data, you enrich using multiple databases, do a simple LinkedIn campaign or email campaign. I'm pretty sure you'll get 2 to 3 appointments. And even 2 to 3 appointments per event. See, that is what, right? Like if I walk into this event and I know like these are 5 people I want to talk to, and I pre-book meetings with them, that becomes a very productive, very productive of me, right? Like that, going on to that event and just talking to people who really matters to me, rather than randomly bumping into people saying, hey, I do this and that, right? So that is not very productive. Worth a shot. If somebody is saying, I think what I would do is, okay, give me an sample data. I will shoot an email, and if I'm getting responses, why not? Because event, if you can get a good ROI from event, right? Because usually we tend to spend a lot of money in the events, right? Like we put a booth, or we travel to a different country, we attend an event. It's very imperative to take a lot of, ROI out of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
How do you find attendee list for those,
Yeah.
for people who are not posting on LinkedIn?
Couple of things. First of all, let's say for Highradius, there were in entire year 25 to 26 relevant events which were happening. So first step, we have spent a lot of time on identifying those 25 events. 50% of our problem was solved that, okay, these are 25 events we want to focus on and we want to go, right? Out of 25, on day one, we got close to 13, 14 events, like either they will post that on this thing, their website. Their website also have like attendee data, like many of those. In many other cases, right? That time we did not have event attendee data. In those cases, we used to procure that event attendee data from the organizer or a publisher. Publisher, usually if you do a bare minimum amount of sponsorship to them, they give you event attendee data. So there was one event which was in Lisbon, which is SSON. It is for a lot of GPO comes there, like global process outsourcing heads. So that data was difficult, and it was like a bullseye kind of a ICP for us. So we procured that data.
So you directly ask the organizer. So what is the right way? Do you say that we want
We want
to
this
sponsor?
data, we are ready to pay for it.
Okay.
And they will be open. Because that's their business, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So very important part. I know it sounds very basic, but I again would like to insist, please work on ICP, which is, what is an ICP? A prospect account which has a pain point which your company could solve is an ICP. Right now, I would strictly disagree if everybody says that, like in India, 1.9 million companies which have filed like GST filing, everyone has problem which everyone of us are building, right? So who are those top 500, top 600 accounts who has that pain point today? Can we identify and solve for them? So there is a framework for that. I'll quickly cover this, which is, there are like two types of filters you should apply. One is the standard filter. Standard filter is nothing but, hey, you have taken an industry cut, you have taken an employee filter, you have taken a revenue filter, and you have taken a location filter, right? Like, I'm pretty sure everyone must be doing this, right? Like, hey, company is having this scale of revenue, this many employees, headquartered in US, let me go and target them. But the point is, you need to go deep and work on advanced filters. Some examples are, what is their tech stack? Are they hiring for some right kind of personas? What is their website traffic? What is their buying behavior? Right? What is their growth rate? Right? How many job openings do they have? For example, I'm a HR tech company, right? And helping companies to hire faster. I would go for, do they have minimum 10 job openings or not? Are they using Naukri.com or GoogleJobs.com or LinkedIn Jobs or not, right? What is their year-on-year growth rate in terms of employees? If these characteristics are not there, very unlikely that I would target these kind of companies, right? So this is a very important piece of advanced filters while defining the ICP. Exactly, yes. Yes, yes. Right. For example, we integrate seamlessly with Salesforce, HubSpot, Freshsales, and Zoho. So if anybody is using Pipedrive, that will be a priority to account for me rather than these 4 companies who are using these kind of CRMs. It's like basic, yeah.
CPOs, Chief
Yeah.
Procurement Officers, like
Yeah.
Material procurement. And other filters are fine, but coming on to team growth and job openings, you can't be broader that the company is growing, you need to be specific to their team. Similar like the CFO team, like because you were also solving the cost side of things. How do you filter those parameters?
Right.
Like what were some of your...
Right. For example, I'll come to procurement,
Yeah.
right? For CFO side, if there are openings for analyst of credit reconciliation in a company, that becomes a very high priority account that there is some level of automation can be done in this company. Because see, what happens is either you should have a solution or people throw bodies at the problem, right? If anybody is hiring, right, that means they are not looking to automate things. And that is where you can chime in and say, they have a problem because that's why they're hiring, right? I will not hire for if I do not have a problem, right? So if somebody is hiring, that becomes a very good intel for me that there is some level of automation which I can do it. So that's become a very important filter. For procurement side, let's say if somebody is hiring for IT manager of procurement, right? That means they want to do some level of IT procurement initiatives going on. You can target these kind of companies. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jaya Bharadwaj.
Hey.
So, like one of the, like whenever we are trying to, there are few companies wherein they are trying to recruit, and they are okay to use the manual methods only. So, and most of the time whenever they recruit people, it becomes really hard for them to again switch back to automation. They are okay with like, okay, this process is being done. So how do you profile customers based on who are willing to jump in with the solution?
Right. So see, profiling has got nothing to do with automation or manual. You can do profiling any which ways, right? Like if they are using manual methods, please do it. I think, again, I'm saying that the thing is not many people do profiling. That is where you do a lot of spray and pray. Irrespective of tool, if you're doing profiling, either it is manual or automation, please do profiling. The problem with manual it is not scalable. Today when you are smaller teams, you can start with manual works, but when you start scaling and you try to make that process more repeatable, right, that is where the problem arises. So again, the choice is yours, right? Like if you want to go with manual, go ahead, but at least do manual and do that profiling because that is important, right? Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Malika and I'm here from Sprouts.ai. We are a B2C photo editing app. So I wanted to know how to create a ICP framework for B2C companies.
Yeah, to be very honest, I'm not a B2C guy, but I will connect you to someone who does a really good job. But B2C is something, it's a different beast, and I really don't want to wing around, right?
Thank you.
So, yeah. Cool. Right. So for this particular session, what I have done is, I will, if Ankur can spend 2 to 3 minutes and talk about fiber. We have done one ICP exercise for fiber. So Ankur is a founder of a company called Fiber, and he's going to talk about what he's building. We have done an ICP analysis for fiber, and I think this will be a good example, real life example, for you to understand if this is making sense or not. Right? Yeah, Ankur, over to you. Can you get the mic?
Thank you. So Fiverr helps create automated landing pages for every search intent that your prospect is doing. So for example, if you are an insurance company and a prospect is doing car insurance, generally you will have a landing page for that, but if they are doing Maruti car insurance, you might not have. So what Fiverr does is it takes that intent and generate the landing page automatically against it. Now what happens is because you have searched Maruti car insurance and when you land on the landing page, you see a Maruti car image and the keyword of Maruti, the chances of you converting becomes higher, right? So we work with more as Fiverr, our clients are B2C or B2B, but they should be spending on Google Ads. And so based on that, I worked with Avinash to build the ICP for the company.
Right? Now, thanks Ankur. So Ankur is helping companies which spend a lot of dollars on Google Ads to personalize them better, right? That is what Ankur is building, and that at scale, right? That's a big problem. Like doing at scale is a big challenge. So standard filters, which like 90% of people just apply standard filters, which is, hey, I want to focus on US and Europe. I want to target people who are performance marketing teams. Industries, insurance, finance, lending, mostly on the fintech side. Management level is CXO VP. Revenue is greater than 10 million because before 10 million, hardly people spend on ads or ad budgets are lower. So there is no optimization. But we have spent a lot of time on building the advanced filters, right? And I think if every one of you can do this, trust me, results will be exponentially higher. For company like Fiverr, what we have done is, they should have a performance team of more than 2 people in a company. Otherwise, they will not go for optimization. We have taken that as a hypothesis. Their website traffic should be 30,000 monthly visitors, and their website traffic is growing at 10% month on month in last 3 months. Now, their ad expenditure is 30,000 per month, and their average CPC is $5 and above, right? Their keyword density is more than 100, and companies which are falling under, let's say, marketplace kind of a category, we are going to exclude. Now, the moment you apply these advanced filters, right, there are handful of companies in India who qualify all of these criteria, right? And this is where you get, because they are having a higher performance marketing team, they are spending $30,000 on a monthly basis, they have like higher website traffic, right? Tell me, why will they not buy solution like Fiverr if they have a pain? Yeah.
Data. So if you look at website traffic, this is of my target customer, right?
It's available in Crunchbase.
Okay.
Or SEMrush. You can take from SEMrush.
Okay. Thank you.
Ad expenditure data you get from ZoomInfo, like marketing spends data. You get from ZoomInfo. That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
Okay.
what is your ICP? You have to build a database accordingly, right? Like, let's say if I'm focusing on, let's say, Amazon kind of a, let's say, cloud hosting kind of a marketplace or cloud optimization kind of space, right? I would not go for, let's say, ZoomInfo or Apollo. I would go for a database called Intercrately. They give me what kind of cloud provider you have deployed. Are you self-hosting it or it is on cloud? How much are you spending monthly? What is the storage size and everything? Based on that, I will do targeting. So again, the database depends on what is your customer. Yeah, sorry. So did I answer your question? Right. So website traffic, you get it from SEMrush, Crunchbase. Ad expenditure, you get from ZoomInfo. Keyword density, I think it's publicly available. Ankur, if I'm wrong, it's publicly available. You can get it, right? Negative criteria, any of the database you can use. So these are like 3-4 databases. You can club it and you can create a target account list. All right. Cool. Any questions onto this? Because this is a very important part of ICP. Cool. Can you give me one example?
So who's not spending a lot on advertising? Definitely they would be using tech stack, because just to give you an example, let's say there is a European company in Netherlands which is doing making pharmaceuticals. They are not advertising.
Pharma data, definitive healthcare.
Okay.
I'll tell you what quality of data they give. How many hospitals are there in US? How many beds are there in US? Who is the visiting physician there? How many times they have visited the clinic in last 6 months? All of this data is pretty much available.
Just to add, manufacturing companies.
Manufacturing. What kind of tech stack they would be needing?
So they would use SAP.
SAP is on Zoom.
So tech stack would be there. I'm just thinking like what, because if you add more filters, then the ICP would be more
absolutely
defined.
Absolutely.
Like apart from these things, keywords, ad expenditure, is there a parallel template of targeting manufacturing companies? Or everyone will be using tech stack because that's the basic criteria. But is there any other template you have for manufacturing companies?
Again, right, like it's a very broad. Manufacturing is like very, very broad.
Chemical manufacturing, pharmaceutical manufacturing.
Chemical manufacturing, there are certain categories of data where you can get. For example, I'll give you one example. One of our customers wanted to target credit unions, right? Now, credit unions is not available in any databases. We did a manual activity searching state by state. There are 26, whatever, how many ever states in US, state by state, how many credit unions are there and banks are there. And then we populated entire list of data, right? And then we married that with, let's say, LinkedIn or something or other databases to enrich it. And then the targeting happens. So there is no like right answer. If you ask me manufacturing, I think it will be more helpful if you can specify in manufacturing, chemical manufacturing. In chemical manufacturing, right, if your buyer is who? Is your buyer another distributor or is a buyer is a retailer? That kind of data will be, again, a separate databases.
I think adding on to that question, so I'm from Jolly AI. So our product is more targeted towards photographers who are clicking like pictures, covering events, and then our software automatically selects the top photos and automates the entire post-processing work for them. So now our audience, when we are going to enter, it's mostly photographers, professional photographers, small houses, studios. So and they are not present on LinkedIn or like most of the online digital platforms. Even if they are attending conferences, like we have access to phone numbers, but we are not able to connect it through again. But they are present on Google
So
search.
you need more of like media house kind of a data, right? Like media and communication kind of a data. There is one company called Prime Focus.
Okay.
I can give you that name of that database. Just ping me. I'll share you that database. They are just focusing on media and communication data.
And photographers or like
okay,
creatives.
Sound editors.
Okay.
Right? Visual editors. They are different topics, man. It's very difficult to understand. I was working with them. They have like these category of data, like who are sound editors, who are very hard to remember, but these very weird titles, right?
Great.
So those are available. So there is a dedicated database for media houses as well.
Great, thank you.
I'll ping you.
Yes.
Right. So there is one company. Check out this company called Prime Focus.
Prime Focus. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Prime Focus, and in India there is one more company which is coming up. I forgot the name. I can give you, but Prime Focus, they do end-to-end like pre-production and post-production automation.
Okay.
It's a SaaS platform.
Okay.
They have close to 2,500 odd employees. They are using a particular database, and they are our customers. I'll ping you.
So for almost like every sector, there is someone who has actually put a database together.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing is, you have to discover it.
Got it. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. What in HR tech again?
Like if you are selling to CHROs or like head of talent, like a recruitment type of a solution, larger companies, enterprise, 500 or more people, is there like a specific that like beyond Apollo and other things that we should look at?
Shall I recommend for HR tech? LinkedIn. Every HR is on LinkedIn. And let me tell you, in India, there are some 6,000 CHROs. So your target universe itself is very, very small, right? Because I sold into CHROs, so I know this field really well in Plum, right? Like there are like 6,000 CHROs in India. That's it. And everyone, like HR, you think of their behavior, right? Every HR is on LinkedIn. And probably if HR is not on LinkedIn, they might not be your buyer as well, because they are not in the journey of automation. Because an HR, first he will come to LinkedIn, he will learn some things, and maybe after a couple of years, he or she will buy a automation solution. Very unlikely, let's say I am not on LinkedIn, and one fine day, I will buy a SaaS platform which is solving HR, right? Very unlikely.
Right.
So best solution is LinkedIn. All HRs are on LinkedIn.
No, but that can give us the top of the funnel, right? And maybe the ICP, like, but the other things around, like the advanced filters that you're talking about.
Right, like how much they spend on HR budgets, how much talent acquisition team they have, right? For that, you have to use like Apollo, ZoomInfo, Crunchbase, and all that.
Okay. So basically, the top of the funnel, you're saying LinkedIn is the starting point, and then you have to refine. Okay.
Okay, good.
So I have a question. So
no, that's okay. That's okay.
Hey, so does Definitive Healthcare also target health tech companies, the database?
Yeah, it has got. Okay. So again, right, like in healthcare also, I'll tell you, there are physician groups, right? There are acute centers, right? post-acute therapy centers, long-term centers, right? Like what kind of data is required? That kind of classifications first you have to identify, and then maybe you can look for databases, right? Like one company which is called as DocNow, they work on post-acute facilities. They automate a lot of things around post-acute. For example, someone has gone through a major accident and he or she was hospitalized for a couple of months, and then there are facilities to take care for them for long-term basis, right? Where nursing homes and facilities are there. They are doing some solutions for that. And this particular database, right, provide even that kind of data.
Okay, interesting.
Thank you. So the biggest challenge that I'm having is especially looking at logistics and supply chain platforms, right? You're right, I'm able to get the ICPs, but the problem is with the advanced filters. For example, I'm looking at people who spend a lot on automation. So except my Amazon and Walmarts of the world, I don't have even data with respect to, other than the number of forklift drivers, for example, that they have as an opening. I don't have an idea about the budgets that they're spending or the way that you're looking at automation, right? Is there a way to work around this? Because most of the system integrators that I actually talk to are all offline people, not LinkedIn, not Google, nothing.
Right. Your question is logistic companies spending on automation.
Correct, correct.
Have you checked what is their IT team size?
Yes, but not very in a particular place.
Right. For example, get a list of companies who are in logistics space
Okay.
and having bigger IT teams. See,
Okay.
what happens is you have to think by keeping yourself in customer shoes, right? Like I'm a company, I'm owning a logistic company and have a big IT team. And I want to now get rid of this IT team and get a lot of automations in place. That is a cost center to me and I want to reduce that cost. Or if I'm having an active job openings of IT people or, digital transformation people or digital people, that is where that can be a proxy for them if they're looking for automation.
Sorry to add on, but my use case is more inside the warehouses. I'm looking at a robotics platform for inside the warehouses where for me, that kind of automation is what I'm looking at. IT team, yes, I'm already talking to them, but that's more of an infra.
I'm not talking about you should talk to IT team. I'm saying that can be a proxy for selecting an accounts for advanced. See, on all the cases, right, you will not get all the advanced filters. So you have to draw some proxies.
Understood.
For example, let's say HR tech platform, right? I would not sell an HR tech solution if they do not have at least 3 people in their talent acquisition team. That's a proxy at like how much they spend and on hiring and everything. So if you're not getting advanced filters, right, you have to draw those proxies and then select the accounts.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I have a question that I hope you like. You see, you have touched a chord, and you seem to be in the business. How can any one of us work with you and Sprouts.ai?
Just reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn and just ping me, hit me up, and I'll be available.
Do you mind giving your details? I mean,
yeah,
is it there
I'll give the details. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Hi, so my name is Pratik and I'm a founder of MetaBricks. So we are into democratization of 3D content.
Awesome.
So like we build world's first text to 3D character generator. We'll be doing for assets as well. So our ICPs are typically would be in the around 3D artists, game developers and gaming engines and all, right? So we wanted to wanted to find out the databases and all. I wanted to know your help also in that way, right? To get how to get those kind of data where these actual 3D artists, game developers, and the VFX artist and all who's working on definitely on 3D characters. So if you can help on that way.
I will do that. I'll do that. Like for 3D artists and everything, there is a list of databases. I can share that with you. We'll connect it offline. Okay.
Guys, so we'll take one more question. Avinash is going to be here
Yeah.
for a while, so maybe one final question.
Hi, my name is Sahil. I'm building Encrypt AI in the AI security, compliance, and privacy space. So my question is, this is a snapshot of an ICP.
Yeah.
But how do you continually refine this based on your outbound lifecycle? What processes should we be following?
Thank you for asking this question. Amazing question. At each and every stage, your ICP changes. For example, when you are early stage, your ICP is more vertical focused. When you scale big, let's say you go to Series B, Series C, right? You have to identify other sectors where you have a right to win quickly, right? That is where you can study your existing form fills. For example, if I were you, I will see that, okay, these are 3-4 sectors I'm doing really, really well in, but in last 1 year, there were X amount of people inquired about my product or replied to my email or visited my website from this top 3 industries or from these top 3 categories. That will be my next ICP refinement, right? Because it's a very iterative process and you have to always keep an eye what kind of customers are willing to talk to you. They might not be ICP today, but maybe somewhere down the line, they will be an ICP, right? So it's very important to constantly track in terms of who is visiting you, who is inquiring about your product. Because somebody, for example, I will not reach out to you, right, if I do not have a need, right? So, and 1 year, 2 year is a long time, and you can do that study and you can figure it out. Yeah. For example, I'll give you one example. At Highradius, we were very good in F&B, food and beverages, CPG, like consumer products, fast-moving consumer goods, and healthcare. But then we realized that process manufacturing and logistics were the next 2 areas where we had a lot of form fills and everything. We started reaching out to them, and we have got like tailwind of responses.
My question is also on, so that's a longer term iteration,
Yeah.
but in short term iterations as well, when you've defined standard filters and advanced filters, how frequently should you be changing them to see if, like, is that just a metric that you're seeing, whether your open rates are increasing or not, or conversion increasing or not, or are there any other?
Conversions, like conversions, not from the email standpoint, even the sales standpoint. For example, I'm talking to, I was talking to one company on the logistics side, to be very precise, right? They have a SaaS platform to automate the lot of shipping and last mile to first mile connectivity and everything. We failed because we did not have enough database. So that will be an exclusion for us to, like not target them as an ICP. So we have targeted like different ICPs. So based on reply rate and closure rate, right, you can keep on refining the ICP. And again, you have to take a best judgment call, right, based on data, right? The problem is people usually do not give importance to data. I think it makes a lot of sense to look at data and take some decisions. Yeah. Cool. I have 2 more minutes. Shall I cover the slides? Yeah. What's an intent? I think any prospect account looking to buy solution like your product is intent, right? What I will do is, I've already covered the first party intent, second party intent, and the third party intent. I would quickly like to walk you through again, right, Ankur's example of fiber. Right now, what we have done is, we have a quick page. Is your competitor, Ankur? Yeah. Yeah. So what we have done is, we tried to study Ankur's like fibers, some 8 to 9 pages, which are like 4-5 are competitor pages, and 3-4 are actual fiber.ai pages, right? And what we have realized, for example, this particular landing page, which is their main landing page, fiber.ai, one of the keyword is site personalization, which is drawing some traffic on fiber.com. Now we have 2,900 companies who are searching for similar keyword on the web. right? Now, 2,900 companies who are searching for site personalization. Now, Ankur, I might have done a very bad job in selecting those keywords, but if this keyword is drawing traffic, either you have to change your SEO, or if this keyword is right, then you have to definitely target those 3,000 companies who are searching for site personalization keyword. Now, think of it this, how many customers does QuickBooks have, like QuickPage have? Not many. They are doing pretty good job on keyword search, right? Now, Unbounce is one of your competitor, right? Now, think of it this way. Unbounce is a competitor for Fiverr, and 89 companies are searching for Unbounce on web. It becomes a very bottom of a funnel account for you to do targeting. So this all can be powered by intent platforms like Bambora. All right, any questions? Yeah.
Data that you get on searches from SEMrush and Hrefs are generally about number of searches. How does that translates into number of companies? And secondly, say I'm getting data on Unbounce, like 89 companies. How do I go behind them? I don't get the data of what 89 companies are searching for that Unbounce.
In that case, you have to use those tools like Bambora or any intent platform. These intent platforms, the moment you punch in these keywords, they will tell you what are the list of companies who are searching for these keywords.
Okay. I haven't used Bambora per se, but we've used lead feeder kind of data that generally gives you your own websites.
Yeah, lead feeder is a first party intent, right? So what we are talking about is a third party intent. This is the third party intent, which is somebody is searching for keywords which are relevant to you on the web, but they are not visiting the website.
So that's where you get the number of companies as well.
You get number of companies, you will get name of the companies, you get location of the company also. Everything you will get it. Yeah.
So we are running out of time because it's lunch break now.
Yeah, we are
yes.
done. Thanks, team. I think this was insightful for you guys and helpful.
Let's have the biggest round of applause, everybody. Put your hands together. That was Avinash, the founder of Sprouts. I must say that it was quite an insightful session for all of us. So now